Excellent. So hello everybody and welcome to WSET School London's Are You Ready for the Level 3 Award in Wines webinar. My name is Lydia Harrison MW. I am Head of Education and Events at WSET School London. So I look after all of the level 1 to 3 qualifications that we offer across our whole suite of products, which is wine, but also spirits, sake and beer. And we also have a whole program of evening events, which are non-qualification based tastings and events experience that we host at WSET School London. So just to make it clear that this evening's webinar is to do with WSET School London. We are the flagship school of WSET Global. We are based in Bermondsey Street in London Bridge, in London, in the UK. So all of the information this evening will be about the courses that we offer, the formats that we offer at the school, whether that's classroom or online, and all of the extra support and facilities that we give our students. So the information is specific to WSET School London, and we're part, obviously, of the wider WSET Global. So what we're going to look at tonight is how the level 3 compares to level 2. So it is a little bit of a step up. So we're going to cover what extra additional information you will learn at level 3, what the exam entails, all of that sort of information, so you feel prepared to take the next step. We'll give you some more information about the course, so what you'll learn, what are the entrance requirements or prerequisites for doing the level 3 award in wines, and some detailed information about the exam, so you know exactly what to expect with the qualification. We'll cover the benefits of studying, and also all the things that we offer at WSET School London, so some of the extra resources, such as things like the amazing samples that we provide, the expert educators, things that are really unique to WSET School London. We'll look at all the different ways you can study. We have lots of different course formats to make studying as easy and convenient for all of you and whatever schedule you have. And we'll also look at what you need to do outside of the classroom to make sure you're successful in this qualification. So it is a little bit more detailed than level 2. You do need to do some outside revision and reading. So we'll look at how you can approach that and what you need to do in order to complete the qualification. We'll also look at the additional ways that we provide support for our students, whether that's online resources or access to educators. We work really, really hard to try and make sure that we have all these extra and additional resources and support to help you with your studying, to really enhance the qualification and the learning experience for you. We'll then look at how you can book, and there's also then, as I said, a chance at the end for you to ask any questions. So please, as I go through, do pop them in the Q&A tab if you have any questions, and at the end I will answer those. Great. So just to highlight, first of all, where the level 3 fits in the WSET kind of learning pathway. So for wine, but also our beer, sake and spirits courses, we have levels 1 and 2. And level 1 is a very introductory course where the kind of main basis here is learning some of the sort of fundamentals, some basic factual knowledge, and exploring the main types and styles here of wine. So our level 1 wine is quite introductory. There's no pre-knowledge required, and that's reflected in a multiple choice exam. Level 2 also has a multiple choice exam, so there's no further kind of examination requirements, but there is a broader knowledge base that is examined. So you do get to know a little bit more about wine production, different key grape varieties, wine regions. And so it's showing a little bit more kind of comprehension and understanding at level 2. So I'm guessing, obviously, most of the people here have done level 2, so you know that kind of level that was expected at level 2. As you can see from the slide, level 3 is a little bit of a jump up on that, and that reflects the qualification and the high level skills that we want our students to come away with at the end of a level 3 award in wines course. So here you've got the term explain, and that shows that we're looking for that more detailed knowledge and understanding here of wine, of how the grapes are grown, how wine is made. And we're looking for that application of that knowledge. So students need to be able to demonstrate that in the exam, that they can link those kind of factors. So how the climate, for example, of growing the grapes expresses itself in the glass, or what some of the kind of growing conditions would mean for the production of the wine. Also at level 3, there is a tasting element to the exam. So we're also assessing a student's ability to taste and describe the product accurately. And then just to show kind of where our level 3 fits, you can also then continue your wine education with us after the level 3 and go on to our level 4 diploma. So our wine qualifications are the only ones that have this higher level 4 diploma in wine. And here, this really is our kind of expert qualification. So here you'd be looking to analyze, evaluate, show some opinion. So again, it's a really broad level qualification. You're looking at wines for all around the world in real detail. You also need to understand more of the commercials, the market implications and things like that in even more depth. So just wanted to sort of put where level 3 fits in our suite of qualifications and showing that slight step up from level 2, which we'll look at tonight, what is expected at level 3. It is obviously a little bit of a step up and a bit more challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding, and the level 3 qualification can give you then that broader level knowledge that you can then really take into your careers or just for your personal enjoyment of wine, so that you can hopefully get even more satisfaction from it. Right, next slide. So this is just, oops, sorry, went on a little bit too far there. So then about the level 3 course. So obviously it does go into more detail, as I mentioned. So we cover grape growing and winemaking in quite a lot of detail, because obviously that's fundamental to wine. And so there's always questions about that in the examination. And that's really, fundamental to wherever you are in the world. Compared to level 2, there's also more regions and more grape varieties. So as well as the kind of classic grape varieties such as Cabernet Sauvignon and Chardonnay, you would look at more esoteric and indigenous grape varieties from around the world. And there's also more detail. So there's quite detailed chapters on sparkling and fortified wines. So looking at champagne production methods in more detail, but also tank method, for example, fortified wines, port, sherry. I'm a big fan of both of these. And there's always an element on either sparkling and or fortified wines questions in the short written answer exams as well. So it's a broader level with more detail than level 2. The prerequisites for the level 3 award in wines therefore reflect that. So at the school, at WSET School in London, we require that all of the students that enroll onto our level 3 wines course have either taken the level 2 award in wines or passed an online entry test. And the reason we do that is because we really want to use the classroom time or the time online to build on the knowledge that you already have. So we want everyone to come into the course with a little bit of knowledge already. So if you've already passed your level 2 award in wines, we know that you have a certain understanding which we can then help you to build on and explore further. So if you have done the level 2 award in wines, you can book onto a level 3 course straight away. Alternatively, if you haven't done a level 2, but you do have some knowledge that you've gained from working in the industry, or perhaps a viticultural degree or some sort of other relevant experience, then we do allow you to do an online entrance test. You can find that on our website. It's £25 to do. It's 50 multiple choice questions. You need to get 80% to pass. But that £25 fee is then reimbursed either against the level 3 course that you then book. If you pass, or if you don't pass, you can reimburse that against the cost of a level 2 award in wines. So finally, the exam, always the scary bit at the end of the qualification, but our qualifications are OFPA regulated. So this is what will give you your certificate, the pin, and that, sense of pride that you have completed the highly, sought after and demanding level 3 course. So at the end of the course, there is an exam. There's 2 exams, actually. The first one that you do is a blind tasting of 2 wines, 1 white wine, 1 red wine, in 30 minutes. And then there is a 2-hour theory examination. So this is where obviously there's a little bit more detail here needed. We're looking for those higher level skills that we talked about. You need to be able to describe, explain within the 4 short written answer questions. So this is no longer just sort of knowledge recall and picking out the right answer in the multiple choice, but you will need to do handwritten answers showing that higher level of understanding. So the 2-hour theory exam contains 50 multiple choice questions and then 4 25-mark short written answer questions that you complete within those 2 hours. Right, so that's the kind of nitty-gritty of the course. And able to pass that exam, because obviously that's what we want our students to be successful, the pass rate is 55%. So there is some wiggle room, there is some room for maneuver. You don't need to get everything right. So in the tasting, the minimum is 55% in the tasting exam across both wines. Okay, so if you're better at tasting white wines, you do better on that and less on the red. As long as you get 55% average across the 2 wines, you will pass the tasting elements of the exam. For the theory exam, it's again a minimum of 55%, but again, you must pass that in both the multiple choice questions and the short written answer questions. So even if you got 100% in the multiple choice questions and you only say got 45% in the short written answer questions, you wouldn't pass the theory exam overall, because at level 3, as I said, we're looking for those higher level skills. We need the students not only to just be able to recall information, but to show that they understand it, they can comprehend it, they can relate it to other bits of information. So that's why you need to pass both elements of the theory exam. And if you did pass tasting, for example, and not theory, that's fine. You can just resit the individual exam. You don't need to do the whole course again. You can just book onto one of our resit exams. And then for those students that are really going for glory, we've just detailed here the different pass marks. So a pass is anything between 55% and 64%. A pass with merit is for those students that achieve 65% to 79% in their exam. And then a pass with distinction is where students have an aggregate mark of 80% or above with no individual paper below 65%. So that's the 3 different pass grades. All right. So what are the benefits of studying? Why should you embark on your level 3 award in wines? Well, when I started out in the wine industry, the level 3 was the first WSET qualification that I did, and I massively enjoyed it, and I did it for confidence. I was working in retail at the time, and it really helped me understand the wine products I was selling, gain that confidence in tasting, and it really sort of helped me in my career. These days at the WSET, we're about 50% trade customers, 50% people that just wine enthusiasts that do it for pleasure. So it doesn't matter if you're doing it for career or enjoyment. It's really, really, a really enjoyable course to do. And it can be very beneficial to you in many ways. So we've highlighted here some of the benefits of studying with us. The first is improving your tasting skills. All WSET courses have a framework for tasting, and at level 3 we have a clear SAT, which stands for systematic. I'm having a complete memory blank. So it's basically a systematic guide to tasting, and you'll write a very clear tasting note, appearance, nose, palate, and quality conclusion for all the wines that you taste on the course. As an example, on the level 3 classroom courses, we show 81 samples, 81 different wines in the classroom, and you will do really detailed notes on all of those. So being able to taste and being exposed to that broad range of really, good quality, really good example wine samples that we use will really help you with your tasting language, being able to communicate and discuss and describe wines effectively, whether that's just for friends, whether it's for work, whether it's for pleasure, whether it's for your career. I think it really helps you to also understand what you like as an individual, what also you don't like. And you can then communicate that with other people, whether that's just going to a restaurant and you feel more confident to describe what style of wine you'd like to order. So tasting skills, obviously everyone wants to taste wine and enjoy wine, and being able to put a language to that, to put a kind of more systematic approach, that's what the word was, systematic approach to tasting, and really calibrate against the expert educators that we have at the school will really give you some really strong fundamentals for tasting that have always stood me in good stead in my career. You also, as we said, deepen your theory knowledge. So level 3 does go well beyond the textbook of level 2. You'll look at new countries, new grape varieties, and therefore gain a deeper level of understanding of the world of wine. And at level 3, we're really looking at basically all the things that will affect the style of wine, the quality, and the price. So you will have this really sort of strong foundational knowledge of what goes on in the vineyard, what happens in the winery, how that ultimately affects what's in the glass, what price it's at, what style of wine it is, and the quality. So all really good fundamentals. And then obviously you can then use these newfound skills, whether it's your theory knowledge or tasting ability, or both combined, in any walk of life, whether that's just at home, being able to select something to work really well with the dinner you're cooking, whether that's when you go on holiday and you want to feel more confident choosing wines abroad or visiting wineries, whether that's at work and you're in charge of recommending samples or buying or marketing products, any of the channels within the supply chain, the skills and the knowledge that you gain at level 3 is so broad. You can apply it and then build on it and evolve it into whatever particular area of the trade you work in, or just for your own personal benefit. Right, so they're the sort of more overall benefits of studying. Then to look at the benefits of studying, particularly with WSET School London, because we're really proud of the facilities, the courses, and the experiences that we offer, both physically in the classroom and also online. So we just wanted to highlight some of the things that we felt really stood us apart and what we always get really good feedback on. So there's a very cheesy picture of myself and the other educators in my team at the school. That's most of our internal educators. So we all work full-time for WSET School London. We teach all of our wine qualifications. So I teach a lot of level 3 at the school, also some level 4 diploma. And all of the internal educators that work full-time at the school have the diploma level 4 qualification as a minimum. So that's the standard of all our full-time educators, that we have the qualification above the level 3. So all the people teaching you have even more expert and in-depth knowledge that they're very willing to share with you. We also obviously have MWs like myself, MW students that will also deliver the courses. And we also use a pool of external educators that come and deliver courses for us on a part-time basis. And we're very proud of the wealth of expertise, experience, different backgrounds, different knowledge that they can then share with our students. We think variety, therefore, is the spice of life. We really have a wealth of educators that can bring to your course, a whole wealth of experience and really enhance the learning for you. As I mentioned already, the samples is something that we often get great feedback on. All level 3 courses will have minimum sample amounts that providers need to show, but we go well above and beyond that. So as an example, in our classroom courses, we will show 81 different wines across a classroom course. That's a lot of wines. I think it's about 16 to 18 per day that you would be tasting if you did it on a day course basis. So that's a really good opportunity to try wines from all around the world, of different quality levels, of different styles, from different regions, from different grape varieties. The WSET is impartial, so we will source those samples from all different providers and suppliers. We don't have any ties. We're free to purchase samples that we think are really crucial at fitting the teaching point in hand. So we use the samples, we select them carefully, we will agree them as an education team with the buyers, with the educators that we think are really fit for purpose. So we use those samples to really enhance the learning, to help the students understand the theory knowledge as well, and to really showcase and highlight the quality and the brilliant wines that we have in the UK. So yeah, that's always something that is really well appreciated amongst our students, is the caliber of wines that we show, particularly at level 3, because the sheer quantity and the amount of different styles that everyone gets to taste and enjoy. Right, we also have some additional online resources, which we're really proud of. We've put a lot of work into these over the last few years, and these are available for all of our level 3 students at WSET School London. So whether you study online with us or in the classroom, you will be added to our online resource area. And this will just provide you with lots of extra information and additional ways of reviewing the textbook. So sometimes people want to review information in different ways. So there's opportunities to test yourself, there's practice quizzes, there's flashcards, there's videos. So we're just presenting the information in lots of different formats to help you retain it, to help you revise it, and really basically just have different ways, different modes of being able to consume that information. We also, on those online resources, if you're studying online, you'll be able to contact your educator that's providing your course. You can also message the students, the educators at the school as well. So there's loads of additional resources that can really help you just refine your knowledge and get you prepared for the exam. And then also one of the other benefits of studying with the school, again, either classroom students or online students, you will all get one of our student deals cards. So we've worked hard with local businesses in the area, but also other wine industry businesses, companies, whether that's people selling wine, people educating about wine, people offering wine experiences or wine books, to give you some, again, discounts and extra basically value for money. So through booking a course with us, you will receive a student deals card with a QR code that will basically go through to a website that tells you all of the current deals we have. For example, some of the ones at the moment are discounts with wine retailers, shops like Theatre of Wine. There's things with Coravan, which is the wine opener preservation system. There's some discounts with local coffees and delis and food providers local to the school, so that you can have your lunch and coffee hit more economically if you're studying with us. So there's loads of really useful resources. You get a free month of Guildsong, for example, which has a whole host of educational resource that you can use to supplement your learning and also enforce some of the learning for your exam. So that's just a snapshot, a couple of examples of some of the deals that we offer for our students to supplement and enhance their learning as well. Right, so on to the study options. We do offer a really broad range of ways that you can study at the school. The school, we have sort of around 8,000 students a year, so we have a lot of students, which is great in person, because that's, if you're coming to a physical classroom course, gives you also some lovely networking abilities, some great camaraderie in the class and a lovely atmosphere. Equally online, we offer that same facilities through chats and introductions and things, so you can get to know the other people on your course. And because we offer we have a lot of students, that enables us to offer lots of different ways to study with us. So we have lots of regular courses across these different formats. And you can see all of the upcoming dates on our website. Our current courses are live up to October. So I'll just talk through in a little bit more detail the different study options. So first of all is all the classroom courses. So these take place in person at our school in London, which is just near London Bridge train stations. They're very accessible. And the most intensive, the first one listed here, is the consecutive. So this is literally doing your level 3 award in wines within 1 week. These courses are Monday to Friday, so 9 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday you would do the course, and then on the 6th day, on the Saturday, you sit the exam, kicking off at 10 a.m. in the morning. So it's a very intensive course, really suited to those that want to do their level 3 quickly. Perhaps you want to fly over to London or travel down and condense your studying into a 1 week period. It's often actually really good for the tasting element because people are tasting all of these wines back to back. So by the time you get to Saturday and the end of the course, you're a lean, mean tasting machine, and they do really, really well in the tasting exam. But what it does require, because it's so intensive, is for you to have done some pre-reading. All of our course options require 51.5 hours. So let's just round that up to 52 hours of study outside of the classroom. So if you want to book onto a consecutive course, you need to make sure you've read the textbook in advance. And then when you come to the course days, you'll really get the most out of the course because you'll be reviewing information that you've already read. The educator will be there to bring the course alive for you, to taste the samples that will reinforce that learning, and you'll build up to the exam on the Saturday. So that's our most intensive format. As I said, lots of preparation needed in advance, but really rewarding, kind of intense format. The next option for our classroom courses is day release. So this is where you would do 1 day a week over 6 weeks. So a little bit more spaced out, which might suit people that want a little bit of time in between the sessions, in between the weeks, to divulge some of the information with the chance to revise it, recap it, and perhaps then prepare ahead for the following week. So that will take 6 weeks. The days are always on the same day. So we have different options. For example, you could do a Monday day release, and that would be 6 consecutive Mondays in a row. There are different options, so you could do a Thursday day release course or a Friday, but they will always be the same day a week over the 6-week period. So again, our Monday day release are perhaps quite popular with trade for people that maybe have a Monday off, or just want a slightly more spread out course with the chance to review the information and revise in between. Some of the more spread out options are also often appreciative for those where English isn't their first language, because at the school we do deliver all of our courses in English. So if you want some extra time to perhaps review the information, soak in the language and understand it, then that might be a better option for you. Right, then we've got Saturdays. So these are obviously very popular with people that maybe have work commitments Monday to Friday. We tend to get very enthusiastic people on a Saturday. I think if you're willing to give up your weekend, you must be really, really, committed. And again, it's a slightly more leisurely undertaking. So on a Saturday, instead of doing 9 to 5, you do 10 to 2:30. So 1 2-hour session, 10 to 12, a half-hour break, and the second session, 12:30 to 2:30. So it's only really half of your Saturday. You've then got the rest of the afternoon to go for a late lunch, explore the local area. We're right on the doorsteps of Borough Market or Maltby Street Market, so there's lots to do. So these tend to be quite social courses, and again, at a slightly more leisurely pace, so lots of opportunity to review the information, pre-read and prepare for the following Saturday. So that's over 8 weeks, obviously on Saturdays. And then the final classroom course format that we offer, which is the most extended, is the evening course. So this is over 16 weeks. Again, like the day release, it would be the same day each week. So if you booked onto a Tuesday evening course, for example, that would be every Tuesday evening, usually for 16 consecutive evenings. Occasionally there's breaks over the festive holidays, so Christmas or Easter, but otherwise, and excluding bank holidays, but otherwise there would be 16 consecutive evenings. And those classes are held 6:30 to 8:30, so 2-hour sessions in the evening. So really suited to those that perhaps have a different day job commitments and want to do something later on. And those that obviously want the most time, so it's a very leisurely, you could do a couple of hours reading each week and still have, plenty of time to divulge all of the information before the exam. Great, so that's all the classroom courses. And then the online course, so that's still provided through WSET School London. And this is slightly different. So this is a self-guided online course. So you don't need to log in and be online at any particular time or date. It's really at your own convenience. You can log in whenever and wherever you like. So it really is suited to fitting people with perhaps quite divergent schedules, or people that are quite remote or who can't get to the school physically very easily. This is over 9 weeks. So again, you've got quite a while to divulge all of the information. You can log into the course as frequently and as often as you like. You get access to that online area. And you also will have a dedicated tutor for your online course that you can message, communicate with, and ask any questions. You'll also have the other cohort within your course, the other students that you can communicate with online. And the online course that we offer at the school does also include a tasting tutorial day at WSET School London. So this is included as part of the cost. It's one day. You do need to attend in person, but it's a really good day that's focused on the tasting element, because obviously we can't provide all that really sort of one in-person instructed tasting tuition online. So we do offer as well a day where you really focus on the tasting aspect of the exam with one of the school educators. And then you still do also need to come to the school for the exam day, because the Level 3 award in wine exam does contain a tasting element, so we do need to deliver that in person. So the online course is 9 weeks online. The tasting tutorial day, it is optional, but we do strongly encourage people to attend, and then compulsory attendance to sit the exam at WSET School London. You can also obviously taste outside of the school with the online course. We give students a whole list of recommended tasting samples, so they can purchase them in their local area or country and submit tasting notes through the online learning portal as well. All right. Sorry, just skipped a slide there. What? Sorry, my mouse seems to have gone a little bit funny. Oh, no, too low. There we go. That's what I was after. So just as a little reminder of what we will entail. So obviously you do need to read the materials for Level 3. Unlike Level 2, you probably won't pass if you just turn up and take the course. As much as you get lots of expert tuition in class, it's a much bigger, detailed course, so you do need to do some pre-learning. So we do encourage you to read the materials. And as I said, there's 51.5 hours of study, which is expected in your own time around your course qualification. So in addition to the guided learning hours. The materials that you get when you book the course are the course textbook, which provides all of the information you need to pass the qualification. The SAT card you can see in the picture there, which is our systematic approach to tasting guidance document, which you need to learn for the tasting part of the exam. And then for those studying in class, you will also have a study guide where you can write your tasting notes, and that kind of follows the slides that we do in the classroom. And then there's also a Level 3 specification that's not printed, but it's on our website, which again, you can refer to, which spells out exactly how they assess the qualification, all the things, some of the things that we've spoken about this evening, like the pass marks, the different grades, the learning outcomes as well. So we provide all the kind of information that you need to be successful for the course. Practice tasting. This is the fun part, right? So you get to, obviously in your own time, we recommend trying some wines, writing a good tasting note, using the lexicon on our SAT. Trying wines blind is always different to trying them when you know what they are. So we recommend, doing some tasting practice outside of the course as well. You get to enjoy the wine, you get to test yourself and make sure that you're successful in the tasting element of the exam as well. And you can make it fun. You can revise and practice tasting or revision with other students. We try and encourage students to network and engage with other students in their class or online as well, or just with friends, family, anyone that's supporting you. And finally, you do need to do some revision, as we said, but you can, again, do this in whatever way works best for you. So some people are quite visual. As I said, we do have some videos on our online resources area. We also have a whole host of videos on the WSET School YouTube channel that we recorded lots of webinars over the last few years, and all of that information is there available to you. You can draw maps, diagrams, post-it notes around your house, however you will retain information, podcasts, recordings, anything that works for you, just as long as you take in the key information from the course. Right, my mouse is playing game now. So just the last couple of slides. So how we support our students. Obviously, it's really important for us to give you all the tools you need to pass the qualification and the best learning experience. So we have all those online resources that I mentioned as different ways for you to digest all of the information that you need to know. You have educator access, so whether that's in person, face-to-face, our educators in the school are always welcome to ask questions in class, in between the sessions. You can also contact us through the school if you have any content queries at all. And equally, on the online courses as well, will be able to message and communicate directly with their course educator. If you do a classroom course with us at the school, we also do a mock tasting exam as part of the course. So you have a practice run through before the actual exam of one blind white, one blind red wine, and that is marked and fed back to you so you can see how you've done with the aim of improving for the final exam. And the same thing we do with the short written answer questions, because this is the element actually of the theory that has the lower pass rate. People worry about the tasting, but it's that jump up from multiple choice questions to short written answer questions that people find harder at level 3. So we put lots of extra opportunities in for you to perfect your technique with these. During your classroom courses, you would have 3 homework activities where we give you full kind of short written answer mock questions that if you complete as homework, you will then have one of our educators feedback and grade for you ahead of the exam. So you can really go into that exam confident that you've put a lot of effort into the qualification and you feel prepared for what to expect. We also offer some additional theory and tasting opportunities. So this is, these are supplementary at a slight additional cost, but sometimes people, if they feel like if they needed to resit their tasting exam, for example, and it was a while since they did the course and they wanted to just revise and review that tasting technique, we do some tasting opportunities that are £40 to come and learn from one of our educators and just recalibrate and do some blind tasting practice. Again, we also do some online theory workshops, which are £30. So again, just an additional resource if required, if you needed to resit or if you felt like you wanted some extra help ahead of the exam, then they are available to you as well. And then finally, as you said, we have that whole range of deals and discounts with industry providers, wine retailers, wine resource knowledge businesses that can also supplement and enhance your studies. And then finally, we wanted to highlight some feedback from some of our students. So just to give you a little snapshot of some of the things that people found really rewarding with studying with WSET School London. So I'll just read a couple of these. The educators were all exceptional, incredibly knowledgeable, impressive, and yet approachable. They all had varied and insightful experience in different areas of the wine industry. So just mentioning what I said is we do have a varied pool of educators. You won't have the same person for the whole course, but we think that's really beneficial. You get to meet different individuals with a whole wealth of experience and expertise. Thomas also said, I enjoyed diving into greater detail on important wine regions and styles. I learned a lot and built some great connections with people across the industry that I studied alongside. The tutors were knowledgeable and well prepared for classes. So again, I think the learning experience at the school isn't just passing the qualification. People often make some great connections within the class with other like-minded wine lovers. You get to communicate with the educators as well. You get that broader knowledge and understanding that really helps build your confidence and appreciation of wine. So it's a multifaceted experience that can really enhance and improve your appreciation for wine on multiple levels. And then finally, how can you book? Our website has all the information you need. A lot of the information I've covered this evening, additional information, frequently asked questions. So if you go to wsetglobal.com/WSET School London, or if you just go to wsetglobal.com, on the right-hand side of the WSET Global homepage, you can see the turquoise button for WSET School London. That goes through to our section of the website. And then you can select the level 3 course in wines, and you have course information, you have different study formats, and then you have the booking options, and that is what I've shown here in the second picture. You can see it will just come up with all the list of upcoming courses that we have available. You can filter by evening or Saturday or different course formats as well, and you can see the availability. And as I mentioned earlier, we now have course dates on our website up to October this year, so lots of options, and we'll be continuing to add more courses as the year progresses. So please check back if you're looking for further down the line. If you have any queries at all, our student services team will be really happy to discuss the qualification with you and any requirements that you have. So any accessibility requirements, any reasonable adjustments, anything like that, please contact us and we'll be more than happy to help you. And finally, I just wanted to highlight some of the upcoming courses that we have starting shortly, where there is some availability. So you can see their Saturday course kicking off on the 1st of June. That booking deadline is this end of this weekend, the 26th of May. So if you need that little nudge to enroll on the level 3, do it. We can see you in a few Saturdays' time. You've got a couple of consecutive course options there as well, coming up, one starting on the 3rd of June, one on the 24th of June. A day release option starting on the 3rd of June, running into Monday the 8th of July. An evening course, the first evening course we have is 1st of August, going through to November. And then an online course as well. There's one starting fairly soon on the 3rd of June, booking deadline the 24th of May. And I've just highlighted there the course price. So it's £995 for all classroom courses and £720 for our online courses. I know that can seem like quite a lot of money, but we do try and keep our prices very reasonable. If, for example, the classroom course, that's under £200 per day. That includes everything you need, the course materials, the examination, the expert tuition, get 6 classes to take away with you, access to our online resources for a year, expert guidance through the course from our educators. So if you break it down like that, we really are trying to deliver value for money and as much as possible that we can give you for the course. Okay, finally, I think I'm slightly over, but hopefully we've got some questions that we can go through now. So let's have a look. And Rachel, do feel free to jump in if there's anything you particularly want me to answer. Otherwise, I'll just go through in order. So Darren asks, please could you share any information on the typical proportion of level 3 students who fail, pass, achieve merit and achieve distinction grades on the WSET level 3? So we can't share sort of all the sort of granular detail, but we do obviously look at our past results and work very hard to continue uphold them. The WSET School London does always have an above average pass rate, so we are always tracking above the global average. I don't know off the top of my head the difference for fail, pass, achieve merit, but tasting results are generally about 80 to 85% pass first time. As I said, people get very worried about tasting, but it's usually much more successful. Theory is around sort of 60%, give or take. It does vary on different course formats and on the different students. But as I said, we do really work hard to provide everything that we can do to support our students. And we, are really trying to always continually improve that pass rate. But ultimately, it reflects that this is a serious qualification. It is challenging. You do need to prepare for it in advance. You do need to put the work in order to be successful. Okay.
Lydia,
next
just to jump in there, we've got another similar question about the success rate of a particular format. Someone's asked about how tricky it is to pass the intensive consecutive format, as they've heard it's quite difficult.
It's not any more difficult than the other formats. Obviously, as I said, you do need to pre-prepare. So it has a quite similar pass rate. The tasting is actually one of the highest because of the fact that you are tasting, vigorously all day, every day for 6 days continuously. The theory is maybe slightly below very marginally below our day release, just because some people obviously benefit from a little bit more time to review, but only very slightly. So people that have done the work before still come to the consecutive course and can achieve very, very well, because actually they don't have time to forget any of the information. It's all kind of really present in their mind, ahead of the exam. So they're pretty similar. The only difference I'd say is, obviously the consecutive, it tends to be the best for tasting because you're doing it really rigorously. The evening course, where it's quite spread out, you probably need to do a little bit more tasting practice in between, because otherwise it can be quite a while from the beginning of the course to the end. So just to review that. But otherwise, we have a really good pass rates for all our different course formats. Great. Right, some more questions. I have answered that one. So Michael says he successfully did level 2, but only seemed able to distinguish no more than 1 or 2 aromas and likewise taste. Will I still cope with level 3? So as I said, there is a tasting exam, so we are assessing that, but it's not just on the SAT, it's not just aromas and flavors that we're assessing. You need to assess whether wine's dry or sweet, for example, what level the acidity is, what level the tannin is. So even if you're not great at doing aromas and flavors, that's only part of the marks that are available for the tasting exam. So again, as long as you can assess structure and quality and things like intensity, you can still be able to pass. Even if you dropped all of the marks for aromas, you'd still be able to get 55%. And equally, obviously, tasting is a skill like anything, that the more you practice it, the better you get. I always say, you can train your body to do anything. People learn to touch type and they don't even think about it anymore. It's the same with wine tasting. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more familiar you'll become, and the better you'll be able to discern those aromas and flavors. And again, we work hard in the class to build people's tasting expertise. All right, next question. Is it possible to get the wine list for level 3 before the course? Yes, if you booked onto one of our courses, if you really want to know all the wines you're going to taste in advance, we can share those with you. Again, just contact us through the student services email. There are a few wines, obviously, that we show blind on the course for learning, so we would not share those until after the course. But we also, otherwise, we can share those, and you can see often the wine list on the online resources area as well. Right, next question. I entered the WSET 3 exam end of March and just recently learned that I failed the theory side only, tasting passed. I would like to ask whether there is any question bank or similar webinar that we can get help from. Right, great. So yes, as I said, we do monthly, we do online theory tutorials. So they're £30 to join, but you get an hour-and-a-half webinar tuition in a small group. You do some group exercises, and then you get some practice questions that you are given to do in your own time, and we offer feedback on those from one of our educators. So they're really worth doing if you just want some additional support for the theory side of things. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole exam bank questions because exam questions are reused. So but again, on the online resources that you'll have access to, there will be all of those mock questions. There's mock questions in the study guide as well that you can use. And then, as I say, we do those additional theory online webinars, which you can see on our website under the tasting and events, to help people that need to do the theory. So that's definitely something I'd recommend. All right, next question. You're in Mexico. Wow, hello. However, I studied level 1 and 2 online with WSET School London. Would I be able to make the written exams online and later go to London to complete the practice part of the tasting? No, unfortunately not. At the moment, the only offering for all level 3 courses globally is to do an in-person exam. We haven't yet developed remote invigilation online exams for any of our level 3 qualifications. So you do need to attend, if you book through the WSET School and online course, you do need to attend the school in London in order to do the exam. All right, next question. So I'm interested in an evening class, but finding 16 consecutive weeks is a bit of a challenge. What happens if I need to miss one evening? Would I be able to join online training for the missed module? Great question. You wouldn't necessarily be able to join online training. As I said, all classroom courses will have access to those online resources, so you can obviously review that information. But if you wanted to really catch up on a session that you missed, you can do that as long as we have a space available on one of our other evening courses. You could just book in and sit in on that individual session. Equally, if you're available in the daytime or Saturday, as long as there's space on our courses, you can sit in on an additional session just for a small fee. It's £40, and then you could catch up on those 2 hours. All right. I've just finished level 2 and had no problem with learning the facts, etc. But what advice can you give to improving tasting skills, both aromas and flavors? So a little bit linked to the question earlier. As I said, practice makes perfect. I appreciate wine is tricky. It's a liquid and you're trying to smell it and taste it and think about flavors and aromas from your memory bank, things that you've had before. But practice makes perfect. So we recommend sometimes, getting wines. If you know you've got a Sauvignon Blanc, for example, that people say it typically smells of grapefruit and passion fruit, you could buy those fruits alongside and smell them. It doesn't have to be fresh fruits. You can buy jams or cordials and things and just practice smelling. Even just your food, and people often don't smell it or appreciate it. So it just is practice. And again, I think you tie that tasting in with your theory. So if you had a wine, for example, like a Pinot Noir that should typically have red fruit aromas like strawberries and cherries, then buy a Pinot Noir, smell that and see if you can detect those. Maybe have some strawberries or some tinned fruit to hand to see if you can pick out those aromas. So it just comes with practice, and as I say, using your theory knowledge to also underpin your tasting. So you can buy a wine with high acid and one with low acid and taste and compare, for example. But yes, just practice, use foodstuffs or aroma kits or whatever helps you to get there. Right, I know you'll provide all the information required to learn from in order to gain the necessary knowledge to get the level 3, but is there other literature that you can recommend before starting? Well, I would say that once you book onto our courses, we will dispatch the materials. So even if you booked onto a course for October, say, we will send out the materials to you now. So that gives you plenty of time for learning. Otherwise, as you said, we've got the WSET School London YouTube channel. So there's loads of information on there, previous webinar events that we've done on different wine regions and areas of expertise. Lots of information there that is really, really valid and useful. But also, obviously, if you're looking outside of the level 3 specification, then there's lots of other resources. There's the Classic Wine Library, for example. There's Guildsom that I mentioned on the student deals card. There's lots of different wine books. So I would just put a word of caution that's not necessarily examinable if it's outside of the level 3 textbook, but there's lots of information there, lots of WSET events that you can come to. If you sign up to the school newsletter, we have lots of in-person events. We have other webinars to share our wine knowledge and expertise that you might find useful as well. Right, almost there. Can I do both online course and then take also the 1 week consecutive days and then the exam by that time? Oh, that would be twice the cost. I'm not really sure about that question. I think you just need to do 1 course and take the exam. If you really wanted to do both, I would drop that question to our student services team. You could definitely only sort of sit the exam in 1 format, but they will be able to just give you some clarity on that. Apologies, I haven't had that type of question before. I would say you wouldn't need to do them both. You do have all the information in class and the exact same information, just given to you in a different format online. So it's probably best to pick one that works best around your schedule. But if you're really interested in doing both, then drop an email to our student services team. They'll be able to let you know if that's possible. How recently do you have to have completed level 2? Did it a year ago and was concerned about how much of that knowledge has been retained? That's absolutely fine. It's probably a good idea. You can have a little reread over your level 2 book ahead of the level 3 course, but there's no expiry. So as long as you pass the level 2 award in wines, or even before that, we used to offer the level 2 award in wine and spirits. As long as you've passed that qualification, you can embark on your level 3. But as I said, you'd need to read the level 3 book before the course and in advance of the exam anyway. So that would be sufficient revision. And I'm sure it will come back to you quicker than you'd expect. Right, is the written exam based on the information in the level 3 book only, or does it combine both level 2 and 3? Everything that you could be examined on is in the level 3 textbook. Absolutely. We do not assess you on things outside of that. Obviously, a lot of the level 2 information is within the level 3 and expanded on, but they will not test you on anything that is not in the level 3 materials. Right, are you given access to the online resources as soon as you have registered for the course, even though this may be well in advance? Believe so, but depending how far in advance you book, it maybe not be instantaneous, as we do need to process the booking, but usually, yes, you will gain access well ahead to our online resources ahead of the course, yes. How close to the exam is the tasting tutorial for online course attendees? Also, is it possible to attend the in-person tutorial twice for an extra fee? Oh, good question. It would be the same wines. We only do one kind of tutorial tasting day, which we offer to all our online courses. So you could attend it twice, but it would be the same wines, which maybe would have a limited additional value for you, but you will obviously be welcome if you wanted to come to some of our other tasting events. It is a little bit in advance. If I just actually flip back to this previous slide to give you an example. So, sorry. So there, if you look at the online course, oh, sorry, it's jumping around the place. The exams on the 7th of August, and the tasting tutorial day for this particular example is on the Friday, the 21st of June. So there is a good sort of 6 weeks or so before the exam. So it's usually kind of somewhere in the middle of the online course. So you've done some of the tasting activities online before you attend, and then you've got time to review what you learn on the day ahead of the exam. Right, perfect. I think that's all the questions. So thank you so much for joining. Stay connected. If you scan that QR code, it will come, you'll receive our newsletter. I'm assuming a lot of the people that joined this evening already have our newsletter, which is why you're here. So thank you for joining. I hope you found it informative and I've answered lots of your questions about the level 3. But if you do have any further questions, please do get in contact. Email student services at first and they can pass on any information. And also check out our website. There's lots of information about the course, lots of the information that I covered this evening, as well as additional information and frequently asked questions. So please do have a look on our website for anything else. All right, thank you very much for joining, and I hope to see you on one of our level 3 award in wine courses soon. Good evening.